And we're back.
Ooh.
So, you guys decide to wait in the tavern. It takes a while, but after about maybe 2 or 2.5 hours of you guys sitting in this tavern, you begin to notice movement in the street outside. People seem to be heading down the street that you now know is North Street. And basically, they all seem to be proceeding up the street towards basically the main gate that you entered through previously.
Oh shit, is the game now. Ah, no.
Oh,
Well,
not everybody's necessarily going to go to that though. So
maybe
Yeah.
the priest or whatever, whoever represents the church doesn't play ball.
do you even play
I,
ball?
I, was,
sure
I
that-
was just, I was just hoping that we could get our rooms in this fucking
Yeah.
tavern.
Well, you'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, we'll wait and find out then.
After probably around 15 minutes more after sort of a big crowd of people goes past, a rather out of breath, very dark-skinned man comes through the front door of the tavern. And he walks through the door, sort of looks like he's been jogging to sort of get back here. Sort of looks up, sees the rest of you in there, and says, "Oh, sorry, I'll be with you in a minute. Just give me a second to catch my breath."
No worries, take your time.
He stops to catch his breath. And he looks up and says, sorry about that. You must be travellers. Welcome to the North Street Tavern. How can I help you? My name's Ian, by the way." And he sort of offers a hand to whoever's closest.
I guess I'm just gonna say would like to ask about your room prices.
He sort of he nods and sort of draws some air into his lungs and sort of goes, "Okay, yeah, sure. Cassian, she's not here. Right, I'll sorry, I'll do it myself." And he comes round and gets behind the bar, sort of gets out a ledger book and a big thing of keys. And he sort of looks through and says, yeah, we're pretty heavily booked right now. Got a bunk room if you don't mind sharing. Or I can have to split you up a lot, but I can probably get you into a room if you prefer.
Two to a room would probably be okay.
He goes through sort of his ring of keys and pulls off a couple of them. Before he basically runs his finger down the side of the ledger and basically looks up his list of prices, and he basically says, "Yeah, if you want, we do bed, breakfast, and a early evening meal." That comes in at roughly 1 gold per person. or I can just do you the room for basically 4 silver. It's up to you guys. There's plenty of places to eat around here. We particularly recommend there's a good couple of places up towards the square. If you haven't been to the square yet, I really recommend going up there. But if you don't want the hassle, we can do you something here.
So
Well, I guess we might as well just take
Yeah,
it easy
just do
elsewhere here and just
Yeah.
just do
get
the
local
thing.
food.
Well, should
Go
we
out
have the
and
Sure.
should we have the breakfast and evening meal, or should we just want the rooms themselves?
Uh,
I would say well, I guess we have to get both breakfast and evening then.
Well, you don't necessarily have to show up for both of them, but
So I guess we'll just like whenever we need it, we'll have it for food.
Okay.
Because they're pretty sure we're gonna show up for breakfast most of the time.
yes, gold per person per night then.
Okay.
Should we all deduct one?
sure.
Yeah.
There we go then.
Okay.
Should we go see if anyone's in the church then?
Yeah, he basically hands you the keys and basically indicates that two of you are on the second floor and one of you is on the first floor, or the two rooms on the second floor, one room on the first floor.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
So as you are leaving, Ian says to you, if you guys need anything and I'm not around, just yell for Cassie and she'll probably be here at some point.
Okay.
He says, I think I'm gonna have a lie down. And he disappears off into the back. And you guys leave back to the town square. Which seems to have a number more people in it, but still not very many people.
All have to do ball game.
Yes, they have all gone to play football.
Can't believe this is a jock town.
I know.
Can't believe that you
This
have
is America.
This is America, the town.
America.
Except they're playing the wrong type of football.
They're playing
Yeah.
Soccer.
English rugby.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Like soccer.
I love how
Anyway,
whenever British
nothing
people
like
say soccer, they get this really sassy.
It's because we're taking the piss out of you.
I know.
Anyway,
So that's how
you
we
return
start
to the square.
Let's check out the church.
Cool.
that church.
Give me perception checks as you approach the church.
Forest place.
Okay.
Doing good.
Vondal and Grim, as you are approaching the church, you notice that basically there is a small garden with a couple of hedges that is just in front of the entrance to the church. And basically sat outside of the basically just before the entrance next to a hedge is a man who basically has a wooden bowl and a very tatty looking mat that he is sitting on. And he observes you walking up, and he nods to you, picks up the bowl and sort of indicates the bowl. It's safe to assume that he's a beggar of some kind.
I'm gonna put 2 gold in the bowl.
Okay. You walk up to the man. He says, "Spare a coin." You place 2 gold in his begging bowl. He looks at the money and says, "It's very generous of you, sir. Thank you very much." Do you say anything in response?
I suppose I'll just say, may Tom bless you.
He nods and says, "Perhaps."
Wow.
Clearly not religious. I'll just move on.
Maybe religious to another god.
Maybe.
I'm getting there. I'm going to also go up to the beggar.
Okay.
And I'll give him. Hold on. Because I've got just like some random. Yeah, you know what? I'll give him 2 as well.
Okay. He again nods, says, "That's very generous of you. Thank you."
You're welcome. Are you here often?
He nods and says, "Most days."
I'm trying to think how to word this without being like. Do you see a lot of what happens here? Or who comes and goes, I guess I should say.
He nods and says, "Hey, I see people coming to and from the church all the time."
Do you... Why is this so difficult? Damn it!
Social interaction.
To the socially awkward.
It's like, how do you say these things without... It's a... Well, this may be a weird question to ask for somebody who is outside of the Church of Pelor, but do you know of any other gods, deities that may be worshipped in this town?
He seems to sort of examine you levelly and says, people from all places and all creeds come to this town. I couldn't really tell you of any specifically, but I'm sure there are.
And this is the only place of worship that there is here?
Again, let's roll.
Those rolls.
Again, he just sort of looks at you and says, "Only one that common folk visit."
What do you mean by that?
Most common folk seem satisfied with Pelor. I guess most of them come here. Those who don't, go where they please.
I don't know if insight is the right thing to do, but I guess that's like what it would be.
You want to insight check him to see if there's anything underneath what he's saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not that
Do
I
it.
don't believe him, it's the...
Yeah, insight is the right.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling, but I don't know how Kelariis would approach this. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. I'll nod. Thank you for answering my questions. May a blessing from Tritherian be on you. And I will turn to go.
Okay. You turn to leave.
Actually, I want to see how he reacts first, and
Okay.
like kind of pause for a second, then leave. Because I'm banking a lot on this theory that I have, but
He looks at you lovely and says, maybe.
this guy.
Wow.
He's not a religious man, is he?
Rob, he reminds me of the guy in.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, are you making inside jokes the
No.
rest of us don't get?
Sorry.
No. Okay. Fine.
I'll explain later.
Yeah. As you turn and you walk towards the church.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, you cast a glance over your shoulder after you've walked a few feet, and the man is in the process of picking up his worn mat, carrying his bowl, and he follows you a courteous distance away from you towards the church.
Interesting. Okay. I'll probably just kind of casually watch him as we go about, but
Yeah, just
otherwise,
keep him in the corner of your vision at all times.
yeah.
Okay. Do you attempt to do so sneakily?
No, I mean, I'm not gonna constantly look over my shoulder, but
No,
If I have-
okay, but you're not like sort of attempting to keep an eye on him without making specific gestures. Okay.
yeah,
I just need to know if you needed to roll anything to conceal that.
no.
Okay, so no, he seems to follow you again a courteous distance, of avoiding eye contact with you, and walks up the steps of the church. As you enter into the church, I don't actually have an interior for the church. But yeah, you enter into something that you've generally become accustomed to the inside of a church, with basically it's a large stone building with a high beam ceiling, and at one end there is a tower that goes, a bell tower that goes up above an altar. It is quite a large church, and it is a very beautiful church. And basically, as you come in through the doors, there is a woman who appears to be putting away a collection of prayer books on a shelf. And she turns as you come in, and she sort of says, "Oh, hello. Welcome to the Church of Palor. If you've come for the service, I'm afraid you've missed it."
If it's okay, we are here on other business.
I
oh,
see.
what was
How
the
can
name?
I help?
What was the name of the order again? In order to pay
Radiant
Lord
Sun.
Ned.
Radiant Dawn.
Yeah,
Oh shit,
Radiant.
I missed it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, I was wondering if there was anyone here who could see about getting a message to the Radiant Dawn.
She looks at you and thinks for a moment and says, perhaps. I don't have any contact with them myself, but the chaplain would perhaps know who to contact. He's just in the back disrobing. If you don't mind waiting, I could ask him.
I certainly don't mind.
We do so much awaiting today.
Says V with a small pout. Yeah, Kelariis, as you you're bringing up the back here, you notice that the the beggar comes in a few moments later, and without sort of really paying attention to you, basically walks up just to by the side of where the woman who is talking to you is, takes some coins out of his begging bowl and places them into a small collection box that is next to where the woman is standing. And she hears sort of like these coins go in, and she turns and says, "Thank you again, Velt." And he sort of nods and says, "All right," and turns around and proceeds to head out of the church.
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't that familiar?
He really wants to follow him. Actually,
What were you told?
I know. Vondal, you can take care of the letter, correct?
I mean, it's not exactly difficult now.
Okay. If I don't come back here before you guys are gone, I might see you back at the tavern. Depending on what happens after this. But I want to follow him back out.
Okay.
Belt.
Wanna go alone?
I mean, no, I'm not going to stop anybody, but I'm not going to force anybody to come with me either.
Yeah,
I mean, what else are we supposed to do?
Kelariis makes to leave.
I follow her. I don't know what else we're supposed to do at this point.
I mean, I'm gonna wait around.
Yeah,
I'll stay here.
wait.
I'll stay here. But if Arya's following her, then that's fine.
Okay.
You might need my stealth.
Arya follows you.
Amazing.
Cool. Yeah, you step back outside. The beggar who the woman referred to as Velt walks down the steps to the church. Sort of hears you, like, doesn't hear the temple door close as you sort of catch the door to keep it open. And he turns and looks at you and says, "Can I help you?"
I don't mean this in a rude way. But if you beg, why do you give your money to the church? You don't seem, well, you don't come off as particularly religious, but you give your money anyway.
He fixes you with a look and says, I would think you already know the answer to that."
Dun dun dun.
There it is, a dun 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 moment.
That really is, though.
Dun, dun, dun.
I guess you're not wrong. Velt is your name, correct?
He nods.
My name is Kelariis, and I've come from, well, quite a ways away, and I'm looking for something, and I think you might be able to help.
Seems that I might. But first, I'd like to see you prove that you are who you say you are.
Of course, did you have something in mind?
You have the sword!
Yeah, but it's kind of cursed right now!
It's really badly cursed.
Well,
Probably not the best thing.
what else could you prove to him that you are who you are with?
I mean, I've got my holy symbol. Does that count?
I don't know. You'd have to ask. This is why he's asking you.
I mean, fair. I have I have my symbol. And I guess I have my symbol and I have my conviction. I don't know what would be of more use in terms of proving this to you.
He smiles and says, "Show me."
I'm going to assume he means the symbol, and I will show him.
He handles the symbol that is around your neck. He looks at it, nods to himself, and says, "How much do you trust your friend?"
Hi.
I trust her as much as I trust the rest of my party members, and that is with my life.
I was gonna say, where's that sentence going?
I realized it implied
Which means you got it all.
Yeah. He seems satisfied with that answer. And then he says, "Please, accompany me."
Of course.
At which point he walks off, basically parallel to the church. And he leads you to an... he leads you into what is essentially a small park. Like, it's a very carefully manicured garden, basically, behind one of the buildings. And he turns to the two of you, and he basically says, "What you're about to see is something that only the eyes of the chosen have been allowed to see for many years. It is on an oath that I show you this, and that you must tell no other."
You have my word.
Shifts his gaze to Arya.
Yeah, you have my word too. I didn't realize I had to swear.
Okay. He places his hands on basically a stone that is basically part of a mosaicked stone tile pathway that crosses this garden, and he basically lifts at the edges of it after pressing on it, and basically it lifts up as a single piece of stone, and basically underneath it is a ladder, and he begins to very slowly descend down this ladder.
Well,
Okay, well, guess we're down there.
We're following.
Okay.
And down the ladder we go.
You follow him down the ladder. And as you reach the bottom of the ladder, he stops and waits for you both to descend before pulling on a chain that seems to bring the stone closed above you. And he basically says, "Welcome to the Temple of Namud." And yeah, let me... I don't really have a suitable one for this either. But yeah, I'll just describe how this looks to you. Basically, you find yourself in an underground room that is probably about as big as the garden that is above you. It's quite a large room, and how this exists undetected underneath this garden is quite spectacular. But yes, there is a large room with a wooden door at one end, and Velt proceeds to push open the door, which leads into another slightly smaller room. This one circular in shape, and with basically a giant mosaic triskelion in the middle. On the wall opposite you is basically a large mural set into a ornate wall decoration that appears to depict a man who is basically kneeling in front of a large warhound, and the man holds basically a begging bowl and a holy symbol, and he's basically kneeling before this hound, which is looking very, very refined and very proud standing. And behind it is basically a mural that seems to depict the town as it looks now, with a couple of differences. Like the wall is the same, but the house roofs are slightly different, and there's basically like a number of people standing around the gate to the town. And basically leading off from this chamber, aligned with the prongs of the Triskelion, are two other doors. And from those two other doors emerge two more figures. One of whom is an old blind man who walks with a very gnarled-looking cane. And the other one is a young woman with very close-shaven black hair. And they both, as you enter, the woman walks close to the old blind man and places a hand on his shoulder. Appears to whisper something to him, and as you enter the room with Velt, they both bow their heads to you reverentially, and they seem to sort of greet you without so much saying it.
I'll bow my head back at them. It's got really formal all of a sudden.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back in the church, the rest of you are still waiting. A few moments pass, and then eventually a rather youthful-looking man, who is quite clearly a cleric of some sort, comes out, still like pulling a less formal robe over his shoulders, and having a conversation with another slightly older man. And the woman who spoke to you basically comes up to the man and says, "Chaplain, these people would like to have a word with you." He turns to you and says, "Certainly. How can I help you, Mr.?"
I was to say, Vondal Ironfist. I was wondering if I needed a message delivered. I've forgotten the order already. For God's sake, I'm tired.
Radiant Dawn.
Yeah. I was wondering if we could get a message delivered to the Radiant Dawn.
He sort of looks somewhat surprised and then says, "I still do have contacts in the Order. I'm sure I could pass on a message. What is the message exactly?"
And I'll just produce the letter and hand it to him.
He takes the letter, looks at it, sees the seal, and says, curious. Where did you get this?"
From a cleric in Renshire.
He looks at you slightly more confused and says, I must say, I haven't seen this seal for a long time. Not since my days as a student. This cleric, who was he?
Now we get into the territory of do we tell him?
Oh, I guess we might as well.
I think
Bring
in
it,
that
like,
case,
slowly.
We found he seemed to have been trapped in a pocket dimension of sorts near Renshire. It's rather interesting, and well, he appears to have. Let's just say when he was trapped, he was trapped several hundred years ago. So he's not exactly sure what he should do now that he is returned.
The chaplain sort of looks at you, seems very, very confused, and says, Right. I'm afraid I don't particularly follow you, but I expect that this letter will detail more. I will endeavour to get in contact with one of my contacts and let them know about this letter and this discovery. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'm afraid I don't really know how to react to this news.
He is currently still at Renshire. He's setting up a church there, since there hasn't been one for a while.
He seems to nod at that and says, yes, I had heard that some of our brothers had been recently outed by some new management. I wrote a letter of complaint to the mayor myself, but I'm assuming it never reached its destination.
Yes. Well, the decision, such a decision was out of the mayor's hands at the time.
I see.
The mayor has control again now, and this cleric is re-establishing the church.
I think I am beginning to understand. Again, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll ensure that this is delivered to the right hands. I'm sure it no doubt contains some important information.
I guess then I'm just going to go half bow and say thank you.
Yes. Please, I must return to my duties, I'm afraid. There is still much to do for the Ascension Festival, but I wish you all the best on your travels.
Thank you. We will not take up any more of your time.
Go and pay Law's light.
Just nod and start to leave.
Okay.
I suppose we leave and go. Now, where the hell have they gone?
Yeah, you step outside, and two of your companions are missing.
Well, that. Could we ask one of the people at the stalls to see see if they saw where they went?
Sure, you ask at the stalls.
Closest.
Yeah, you ask at a couple of stalls. Nobody seems to have seen them.
That's handy. Well, I suppose Clara said to just see her at the tavern, so should we just wait there?
Grim and V.
Oh, I guess that should work.
I mean, yeah, they said that they would be back at the tavern if it got late. Let's trust them.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like this place is too bad.
Yeah. What time does that make it now?
Now it's probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock.
I guess if they're not back by evening, that's only really when we should start worrying. Just wait back at the tavern for them.
Well, you know how things happen. You get caught up in stuff, and
She's a big girl, she can take after herself.
Yeah, Kelariis can look after Arya, it's fine.
Wow. Amazing.
Words that will never be observed by either Kelariis nor Arya. Cool, so you guys head back to the tavern.
Yeah, I don't think Arya would like that.
Meanwhile, in a certain secret temple, Velt is basically given a mantle by one of his by the young woman with close-shaven black hair, which he puts on, which you notice is basically a purple mantle with a Triskelion on it, in a style that is not entirely dissimilar to the barding on your horse.
Right, I was gonna ask that, but you answered my question.
Yeah. And yeah, Velt says, yes, welcome again to the Temple of Namud. I'm the priest in charge here. I've been watching over this place for most of my years. How can I be of aid to a fellow follower?
I am looking for information for the most part. I don't know if it's weird. No, fuck it. I've been asked to seek out the relics of Tritherion. And as you could probably guess, information on them is very scarce.
Velt fixes you with his calculating stare again and sort of nods slowly and says, yes, the relics were hidden so that they could not be easily gathered. Their whereabouts were kept secret to all but those it was most important to.
I believe that how to word that. Is there anything you'd be able to tell me about where they would be? I know it's quite a bit to ask for somebody who has just arrived here and that you do not know, but it is of great importance that I'm able to find these for more than just the reasons that, or for more than just the fact that Tritherion has sent me to do that.
Again, Velt fixes you with his calculating look. And he says, well, you have shown me that you carry Tritherion's mark, and you claim that you have conviction. There is but one way that we can test that conviction. an ancient test that was left to us by Namud himself to judge those to be worthy of Tritherian's blessing or not. I may be willing to divulge that information if you are willing to take the test.
I'll do it then. What is the test?
He nods and makes a hand signal to the young woman, who in turn whispers in the blind man's ear. And they both disappear back beyond the doors. And Velt turns to you and says, there are 3 trials that must be passed, each one requiring you to prove that you have strength in 3 of the attributes that Tritherian values: justice, retribution, and individuality. If you can pass these 3 tests, I will tell you what I know. I will warn you, however, these tests are built to challenge. Only the faithful can proceed with these.
Alright then.
He turns to Arya and says, if Kelariis here is willing to take the test, you may observe, but I must ask that you do not interfere, both verbally or physically, during the trial.
You have my word.
Very well. He turns to Kelariis again and says, pray with me for a moment.
Of course, and I'll do that.
Okay. 2 of you pray momentarily. When you hear a door open from one side of the room and the blind man emerges from one of the rooms. And he calls out as if he's not quite sure where you are in the room. He says, my trial is ready. And Velt nods. And says, please, go with him.
Okay, then I will go with the old blind man.
Okay.
Oh.
Music change.
Yeah.
Is
No
this
pressure or
suitable?
anything. Lord almighty.
No, that's a bit too creepy. Yes, I know what I can use. This one? Yes, there we go.
Jeez.
Haven't heard this in a while.
Mm.
Okay. So, the blind man holds the door open for you, and presumably the 2 of you pass inside.
Yeah.
Arya?
Hello?
Do you pass? Do
coming.
you go inside as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool. 2 of you are led into another circular room. This one seemingly very, very sparse. Aside from a rather unusual sight in the center of the room. Set on a small pedestal in the center of the room is what can only be described as an executioner's block.
Cool.
And next to it is a large, heavy metal axe. The only other occupants of this room are 3 individuals in chains. A man, a young boy, and a girl. The blind man turns to the you and the rest of the room, and says, "These 3 people have been brought here to be judged. One of these deserves death, whilst the other 2 deserve life. Make your choice."
And that's the only information I get.
That's all he says to you at this point.
Am I allowed to speak to them? I ask the old blind man.
He nods.
Okay. Can I look at each of them, like I guess in a bit more closely one
Yeah.
at a time before I speak to them? Okay.
Yeah, basically, there is a middle-aged man with short hair, a teenage boy who looks sort of rather ratty and small, who's basically got sort of like a raggedy blonde, not quite curls, more like wavy hair. And a girl who sort of has like a sort of bob cut haircut. None of them seem to be particularly richly dressed. They all seem to just sort of be wearing not quite peasant clothes, but sort of very lower class clothing. Is there anything else you want to particularly know about them?
I guess not really from looking at them. God, what? Okay. I ask. I will. I was gonna say I turned to the old blind man, but he can't see that I turned to him. But may I ask why these people were chosen?
So you're asking the blind man why they were chosen?
Yes. Yeah.
He says each of them has been deemed guilty of a crime.
What crimes? Or is that something I'm not allowed
You will
to
have to
know?
ask them.
Okay. Well, then I'll do that.
Yeah. Who do you speak to first?
I guess work from left to right, so whoever's on the
Okay.
furthest to my left.
Furthest to your left is
Yeah.
the man
Okay.
with short hair. He looks up at you. He seems sad but resigned.
What is the crime that you were found guilty of?
I beat and imprisoned my wife.
And... Okay. And do you regret doing that?
No.
Okay. I'll move on to the next and ask the same.
He says, I tricked travelers and into giving me their savings.
Why?
He looks up at you and says, I lived on the street with another boy who was crippled, and I felt sorry for him.
Okay. And then I'll ask the last person.
And she looks up at you and says, I stole a horse.
Why did you do that?
I knew the horse was old, and I knew it would be sold to a slaughterhouse.
What did you do with the horse?
I was caught before I could decide.
Okay.
I'd like you to give me a religion check as you finish your questions.
God, please,
Okay.
Christ. Why this?
Oh my god.
Okay. Is it a feeling I get, or is that just a thought that I have?
It's a feeling, like like the whole thing just sort of rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay. Glad I'm on the same page as Kelariis here.
Yeah.
All right. Do I get like this might be kind of a weird question to ask, but do I get the feeling that this is supposed to be the test of justice? Or
It
is it
would
not really
make
clear?
sense.
Okay.
You don't see how this has to do with individuality or retribution.
Okay, that's what I thought. It just makes a little bit of a difference for how I wanted to phrase what I'm gonna say. I will go back to the blind man. And I will... Okay. And I'll speak to him. Tritherian... Preaches isn't the right word. Tritherian believes in embodying justice as one of his tenets. And while sometimes that may result in the death of someone who is guilty, I do not believe that that is necessary for any of the three of these people. Punishment may be, but not death.
The old blind man raises one hand. And he snaps his fingers. Nothing seems to change, but when you sort of turn back and examine the room again, all three people have disappeared. And the old blind man, after snapping his fingers, folds his arms and says, "You are correct. Tritherian opposes those whose laws seek to control life and liberty. You have succeeded."
I nod my head at him, not thinking of the fact that he can't see, and I just...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He indicates that you should return to the center chamber.
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay. You walk back into the central chamber. You see that the cropped hair woman has returned, and that she's basically now holding a fairly elaborate looking quarterstaff and several lengths of rope. The old blind man walks in and says, "Velt, This one has passed. And Velt nods, and he says, Cassian, your challenge next.
Oh.
And the woman nods. She says, please, kneel, and invites you to kneel in the center of the room.
Okay. I'll do as she asks.
Okay. You kneel, and she says, hold still. And she begins to tie your hands, basically tie your hands and your feet behind you.
Oh.
When she finishes, I'm assuming you let her finish.
Yes?
Yeah. She stands up, holds the quarterstaff and says, are you ready to begin?
I believe I am.
Okay.
Which one? Okay.
She strikes you very hard in the midriff with the quarterstaff. Through your armor, it's actually not enough to cause you any serious harm, but it stings. After she does that, she taps the quarterstaff on the floor and says, retaliate. Then she hits you again. Again, this time is sort of like in the side of the arm, and again, through your armor, it doesn't really leave any lasting harm, but like it fucking stings. And yeah, she does the same thing again, hits the ground, retaliate. What do you do?
My hands and feet are tied.
Yes.
And I'm kneeling.
Yes.
Fucking blast her with your dragon breath.
I don't want to blast her with my dragon breath. I don't think that's the answer.
A bad influence. This is why Clara's
Yeah.
looking after
This is why you aren't allowed to talk.
Oh no.
you. Yeah. Clara's
Yeah.
looking after you.
I'm not going to do anything for the
She
moment.
hits you again with the quarterstaff. Retaliate. Stings, doesn't leave any lasting harm. Still nothing?
No.
Okay. This time, you take
Oh shit.
8 bludgeoning damage as the
Okay.
quarterstaff hits you across the jaw. You know what I'm going to ask you next.
I know. Oh god,
Oh,
let's
dear.
think about this. This is probably fine. That's fine.
Okay. You save.
Okay. Thank god.
She taps the ground again. Retaliate.
I will not hurt those who have not done evil or done bad.
Oh wow, that's a natural 20.
Oh shit.
No.
Wow.
Okay. You take 11 bludgeoning damage as she strikes you across the side of the head. You know what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah. I feel like
Okay. Once again, tap, retaliate. She raises the quarterstaff again. hits you in the side with a stinging blow, but doesn't cause any lasting harm.
At least wriggle, Jayla. Wriggle.
I know.
Retaliate.
Yeah, I'll try to work out of the tie.
Okay.
Ties. Yeah, that stuff.
Give me a. Are you trying to like brute force out of it, or are you trying to just?
Wiggle.
I mean, honestly, I almost think brute force would work better for me. How loose do they seem like? Or how strong is what it seems like she's tied me with? That might be a better question.
Give me a wisdom check.
Oh boy, 'cause my wisdom is...
Your wisdom is very good.
My wisdom's okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's not the best.
I don't know if I clicked it.
It's at least positive. Okay.
That's true.
Looks at Grim.
The way you feel how this is tied, the knots themselves are tight, but the rope itself is not the best quality in the world. If you were to strain correctly against the rope, you would less likely undo the knots and more likely just fray the knots to the point that they'll snap.
Okay, let's go for that. It's probably my best bet.
Cool. Give me a give me a straight up strength check.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, you grip like the middle of the rope with your hands, and you tense, and it literally as you do the first tension, you can feel the threading of the rope already give way, and you feel one of the knots snap on one arm. So the rope is still on the other arm, but your hands are basically free now. Yeah, she swings with the quarterstaff again, and leaves another stinging blow in the side. No damage.
This might be a really dumb question. Is there a way, besides like how Grim has his disarming strike, is there a way to try to disarm somebody?
Yeah, you just make a grapple check.
Oh, okay. Can I... well, my feet are still bound.
Your feet are still bound, so you would struggle to stand up.
I could probably try to just grapple somebody while kneeling. I don't know.
You could try. You'd be at a disadvantage, but you could try.
Yeah. Actually, I'll try to get my feet free. Actually, can I just untie? Like, reach behind me, untie me, because my hands are free now.
Yes, you can give it a go. You can give me a dexterity check, or a. If you're trained in sleight of hand, then give me a sleight of hand. But if you're not, just give me a dex.
That is a hard no. So, dex it is.
Okay.
Oh.
It's still sort of, you'd have to sort of turn behind you, and you fumble with the knot. You don't quite get it undone. She raises the quarterstaff again. This time it basically hits you in your exposed, like, because you have to turn around, like basically in your exposed shoulder, and you take 6 bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make me a saving throw.
I don't know if that saves.
What is...
I don't know if that saves.
The difficulty is 14, isn't it?
Is it? I don't...
Yeah, I think it is.
It's on the sword.
Oh no. It's a 15.
It's a 15, okay.
Oh no.
Oh, here we go, boys.
You're angry.
Oh god, okay.
I always
I
knew
got
this would come back to bite you in the ass one day.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I
wait,
figured
you get a
it was
+2 because you're passive.
No, it's already added. I've adjusted it so that it adds it automatically. Yeah.
Fuck.
Have you?
That way. Yeah, there's a way you can do it unless it didn't stick.
It says
Wait.
Wiz plus Prof, but it only says
Just
10
kidding.
plus 4.
I did it last time, but
Hold
apparently
on.
it didn't save. So Because there's a thing on the sheet that allows you to do that. Oh, stop touching
Well, when you
it.
mouse over it, it does
Yeah,
say
hold
it's
on.
adding whiz plus proficiency, but it's only adding +4.
Yeah, because +4 is your +3 proficiency bonus, and your 1 because you're proficient in it. So that isn't with your
Okay.
+2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you go.
Yeah, because I tried to change it before, but I guess maybe it's...
Yeah, there is a way to do it. We'll have a look after the session because there is a way to do it.
Yeah, in options, there's global saving throw modifier.
But that's for every saving throw is the thing.
But isn't that one? Doesn't this apply to all saving throws?
Does it?
Mm,
However, all those are
Okay.
very buggy.
Either way, that isn't actually a failed save because of your passive.
Thank God.
Okay.
So
Oh,
actually,
God.
you're not angry yet. Well, you're getting a little annoyed, but not magically
Yeah.
annoyed.
Not magically
Not
annoyed.
magically
Fantastic.
annoyed.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
magically
think-
annoyed is the worst.
Magically annoyed goes beyond annoyed at that point.
Yes, it's bloodlust.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can try and break out again, or you can try and grapple with disadvantage.
Grapple's athletics, right?
Grapple is athletics, yes. Athletics
I'm
against her strength or dexterity.
I might just... I'm gonna try one more time on the knot. Actually, no, I'm
Okay.
gonna try to grapple her. Fuck it. I'm gonna
Cool.
try to grapple her with disadvantage.
So you're trying to disarm with this grapple.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Take your athletics check with disadvantage. That's a pretty good athletics check, even with disadvantage.
Pretty good.
She gets
Okay.
+8. She rolled an 11 and a 10.
She raises the quarterstaff again, swings to the side of your head, and this time you catch it, and with a fluid motion, you yank the staff, and she has no choice but to let go of it. You are now in possession of a quarterstaff.
But your feet are still tied.
I know.
Your
my
feet are
is
still tied.
But I do have a quarterstaff, which means she can't hit me with a quarterstaff, so that's a plus.
She raises her hand, claps, retaliate.
I won't.
Retaliate.
I will not willingly hurt somebody who is not evil. I think you need to understand that. Test or not, I won't do it.
Okay. She walks up to you. And she unarmed slaps you.
I honestly kind of saw that coming.
I can't believe she
No.
bitch slapped Kelariis.
Retaliate.
No one...
Who the fuck
No one-
bitch slaps Kelariis?
Her.
Cassian, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. God, I really don't want to fight her. Like, I'm worried about really, really hurting her.
Just try to like grapple her so she can't like fight you.
They didn't give me any sort of restrictions for what I could or couldn't do for this, did they?
Didn't tell you anything.
Okay. I'm gonna try to cast Hold Person on her.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Cool. Your hands are no longer bound, so you can definitely do that.
Sweet. Oh, that's not right. Do I need to, like, poke it?
It probably wants you to choose a level.
I mean, I don't really have much of a choice.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
I was hitting the wrong button, so-
She's got to make a wisdom saving throw. Okay. What do you say?
AC's not great. What do I say?
Yeah, like as you cast Whole Person.
I am not going to fight you if I can help it.
Okay. Point your finger. Cassian raises her hand to strike you again. And can no longer move. At the end of its turns, it can make another wisdom saving throw, correct? Yes. Okay, so... No. Okay, so this... For about 12 seconds, nothing happens. Before Velt basically says, enough. Whilst your desire not to harm Cassian is commendable, it is important to remember that the right to liberty and self-defense is chief cause of Tretherian servants. Retribution is a right granted to all those who choose to take it. Cassian sort of looks at you.
It is still a choice to be made, and my choice was to not do that.
Velt
And I
nods.
believe if that's not something that Tretherian stands for, the will or the ability to make that choice, then I don't know what he does stand for at that point.
Velt looks at you, almost surprised at your attitude, but he does not. A moment passes before he says, "You may have to release Cassian for her to approve your trial."
Oh, right. I'll do that.
Okay, you relinquish hold person. Cassian's hand falls. She says, "You pass."
Woo.
Really didn't want to fight her. I was really scared that I was going to hurt her.
Well, she could have taken it. I'll tell you that
Okay.
much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, and Kelariis doesn't want to risk that shit,
Yeah.
so...
Okay. Velt produces a dagger from his belt and cuts the rope that is binding your feet. And offers you a hand to help you stand.
I'll take it.
He stands you up. And he says, now you must face my challenge. The challenge of individuality.
Individuality.
Shush. Yes. He says, you must face my challenge, the challenge of individuality. Unfortunately, this is a challenge that can only be taken alone.
So I gotta wait.
You must wait here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be back. It'll be fine.
Velt gestures towards the only door that you have not yet been through.
Okay.
And I will gesture you into a room.
Oh. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Right, so basically you enter into a room. This room is a lot darker than the room you were in previously, and is basically lit by a series of small candles, basically placed at the foot of a statue. This statue is a figure that you recognize, and it is a formidable likeness of Tretherian. The statue is posed with his hands raised as if holding something up to the sky, although whatever was once placed here is no longer here. Instead, Velt indicates you towards the foot of the statue and picks up a large milky white orb that was placed at the foot of the statue. He places both hands on this orb and offers the orb out to you and says, "Please, place your hands on the orb."
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. As you place your hands on the orb, you feel a sense of displacement. Almost as if your consciousness is whipped away from your body temporarily. And you find yourself in a unusual a brand new place that you've never been before, but it feels unusually familiar. You feel like you're standing at a crossroads, deep in a forest somewhere. And whilst you've never seen this place before in your life, it feels almost like you've been here before. It's as familiar to you as a place in your childhood. And your hands are still out in front of you touching this orb, and you feel like you can't remove them from the orb. And Velt looks at you and he says, I will now ask 3 questions, all of which must be answered truthfully.
Okay.
My first question is thus. Why do you seek Tritherian's blessing?
I seek his blessing because I believe in his tenets, and I want to be able to help those who cannot help themselves. And there is a force working against good in this world, and I and my friends seek to combat that. And I believe that Tritherian's blessing is something that would be of great help, and it is something that I believe in.
Velt nods at this answer. And he says, but yet, I sense that you fear failure. Why is that?
I fear failure because I do not wish to let down those who believe in me, whether that be strangers or my friends, my family, or Tritherian himself. I fear that my failures will bring harm or danger to those that I care about. And I work always to ensure, to the best of my ability, that that does not happen.
He nods again, seemingly satisfied. And this challenge, are you prepared to face it alone, if you must?
Yes. If that's what has to be done, then I'll do it.
Velt nods again, seemingly satisfied with your answer, and you feel the place where you were standing fades, and you're back in the darkened room. The orb now in your hands is no longer a milky white. It has turned a transparent colour, and seems now to be almost dormant compared to its previous state. And with this, Valt turns to you again and says, with this final trial, your mettle as an individual has been truly tested. I will grant your request to the best of my ability, and in any way other that I can help you, I will endeavour to do so.
I very much appreciate that.
Before we do this, however, I think perhaps after what you have said, it would be pertinent for me to meet these companions of yours on a more personal level.
What do you mean by that? If I may ask.
Go back to the temple. find them, and in a while I will find you. I have a place that I like to go, secluded, that is out of the earshot of most people. I would very much like to meet your companions and have a chance to ask them about this quest, and ask them 1 or 2 questions of my own.
I'm sure that they would be glad to do that. Is there a particular place that I should wait, or that we should wait for you, or just...
He thinks to himself and says, I will send Cassian when the time is right. Do not worry, she will find you, as long as you are within the city limits.
Okay.
He nods, and you return to the central chamber.
Oh. They're back.
After perhaps a couple of minutes, the door opens again. Velt steps through, as does Kelariis.
So, did you pass?
Velt turns to Arya, smiles, and says, with flying colours.
Aww. I don't say that in character.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Can you imagine Arya doing that? That'd be the fucking most hilarious thing.
Be quite
No,
interesting. I'd be like, Arya, are you okay? No. However, before Velt tells me the things that he promised that he would, he wants to meet with you and the others. Well, all of us together. So...
Okay. I guess we'll have to go get them.
Yeah, and he said that
Just
Cassian will come to find us when he's ready to speak with us.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
With that, Velt escorts you to the ladder. And in short, he opens the door, opens the hatch for you as you climb out. And yeah, basically you guys are returned to the square and the sunlight. And with that, that's where we'll end the session. I think, unfortunately, we have missed Cav having to go, but...
Yeah, he died a long time ago.
Yeah. I didn't quite realise how long that trial was taking.
Yeah.
But yes, so... with that, let us stop the creepy music. And we'll go back to town music.
The switch in music is so good.
Yeah. So, who would like to be first among the group to tell me what they have learned this session? Must I do some maths? Way.
Hey, math.
I did nothing this session.
Yeah, I did very little this session.
I got a haircut.
Hey, at least you guys didn't have awful internet for a solid hour.
Wow.
True.
That's
Like
brilliant.
everyone sounded super robot for so long, and was just like I could understand you guys barely, but I was just like, well, I'm not speaking for the next like however fucking long this is gonna take.
Yes, I did notice you went quiet,
Very quiet. Well,
which is a shame.
I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm glad that we're on Rourke's Gate. I feel like this is gonna be interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe eventually get another relic for Kelariis. Be good.
I don't know
And I
if
did my plant growth thing,
Yes, you did your plant growth
Yeah.
thing.
even though nobody else has any idea what I just did.
I hope that when we pass by on the way back, I assume we're passing that way on the way back. I hope we see something different. Be like, Fee did that. What?
I'm not sure if it's gonna go into effect like that soon.
Oh,
There will be,
Because
there
it's
will
considering
be a
it's
jungle.
summer.
Look, there will be an
Well-
entire jungle on the way back.
I believe the description for plant growth. Let me find it.
It's the area within 1 mile. I think is enriched for like a year.
All plants within a half-mile radius centered on the point within range become enriched for 1 year. The plants yield twice the normal amount of food when harvested. So you might notice that for about a mile everything is slightly greener than everything else, but
V was here.
It's like your calling card. Greener grass, V was here. Definitely.
Definitely.
so that's you've done some things as a player. What did you learn anything as V? Other than the fact that money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Also pie.
That was
Don't
honestly
forget
the
pie.
best roll of the session. Oh yeah, and the pie. I learned about pie, guys.
It's not just weird bread.
It's not just weird bread.
I feel like I had some good quotes this session. I had a lot of fun, sort of, playing V as sort of like the just says whatever comes into her brain at some point, and it's
Yep.
like, it's like, oh yeah, you rescued me. Well, it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was almost a grim thing to say.
Yeah,
Just,
well,
but in like a nice V way of saying it.
Well, she didn't realize it was like a weird thing to say. It was just true. It was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't like they knew
Yeah.
it was there. It was just an accident that they saved her. And
Yeah.
It's not like a bad thing, but it was an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't mean to. It was purely an accident. Yeah, no.
Please don't regret it, I think.
V had some good role-playing moments this session. Yes, definitely. Yes.
In the moments where I could still speak.
Yeah. So, unfortunately for a session that you didn't kill anything, you do only get 825 experience. But you did get to be heroes, which is at least worth something. Yeah. Believe it or not, signing that book is worth 400 experience.
really.
Yes, because it's technically
That's
it's technically a resolved story arc. So, 400 experience.
Should sign books more often, guys.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, the signing the book itself, it was more. It wasn't signing the book itself.
It was.
Signing the book is more indicative of case closed, which is the closure point at which you gain experience.
We signed the contract, we're done.
Amazing.
Well, everyone who grows up learning Renshire's history from this day forward has your names.
Yeah.
Will be mentioned in history class.
Oh shit.
The 5 heroes. Yes, that's actually a milestone in the Dungeon Master's Guide. You are now considered local heroes. So,
Yay.
But when do we become national heroes?
when you do something of national significance, like, I don't know, maybe saving the place from the blight. I don't know. Maybe you should get on that at some point. I don't know.
Wow.
Just saying.
Wow.
For you, buddy.
Look, if you would just give us the relics, we'd be alright on it.
We still don't have a fucking way into the Shadowfell. We still don't have the
Yeah, we
fucking
have-
divine power we need.
We have a way. We
Do
have.
we?
If you look for the shards, there are these wispy things, and they will lead. They can lead you to a portal
Oh,
or
right.
Yes.
or gateway.
But we still don't have a divine power that we need.
We're working on that.
And that's only to destroy a Rave Shard. That isn't even to, like, get rid of the Blight. This is
Uh,
complicated, y'all.
It is.
Well,
Who's
we
next?
do have actual researchers on that.
I can go next. Because I similarly did pretty much nothing this session.
We're saving the best for last.
Yeah, exactly. As a player, I don't know what I learned. That it's fun to hear other people's. Sure, let's go with that.
Fun to hear other people's what? Sorry.
Stories.
Yes.
And as Arya, I learned that Tritherions test are some whacked up shit.
Yep.
Yeah, Luka, we're live blogging that on Skype.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can imagine that must have been an adventure.
Yeah, Helena was like, it's a good thing that B's not there. And I was like, yeah, it is, because like she'd be losing her mind.
Especially not being able to talk.
Mm-hmm. I was like, it's a good thing that only I am there, because I know how to keep my mouth shut. I was just like mildly freaking out inside, but I was like, unless something really bad happens, I'm not going to step and do anything.
The question is, did anyone notice the Skyrim reference?
Cav did.
Cav
Cav was like,
did.
oh my god, Skyrim! And I was
Yes.
like, okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, I kind of figured that the first trial would go the way it did, because I was... Tritherion stands for justice, man. He's
Yeah.
not going to be like, kill this random-ass dude because I tell you to. But I'm interested to hear what the third trial was. That'll be something fun to hear.
Yes, it will.
But yeah, that's pretty much
Okay.
it for me.
Yeah, 8:25. Who's next?
I guess I can go next.
Captain Haircut.
Captain Haircut.
I'm so pleased that I managed to work that in as an encounter. That is an encounter I have wanted to include for the longest time. I was waiting for the right moment.
And we almost skipped it.
You almost skipped it.
Yeah, I was the only reason I went for it was like, well, I guess it's there for a reason, and I might as well go for it. We might learn something.
Like
There's
literally,
3 people.
the notes I have is literally the barber, a portly, well-dressed halfling, stands next to a peculiar chair with a scaffold surrounding it. The sign says Botham's Clean Cuts in 4 languages. He offers his services for 4 silver for long hair, 2 for short, and a clean shave for 3. If the players engage, he talks about football. And that's literally my notes on that entire encounter.
That's
That's
good.
amazing.
No, it was interesting.
Good, I'm
Oh,
glad.
We didn't do all that much, but I think we spent a lot of time on figuring out the horses and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But
I think it was alright. It could have gone worse. We spent
look,
longer times on trivial shit.
well, I guess we were more a unit, or we didn't have to discuss it as much.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting town.
It is.
Super religious.
Eh.
Something completely different from what we're used to.
Yes.
I wonder how it's gonna affect what we're going to be doing, but I guess we're gonna find out next time.
You'll have to find out.
And well, that's grim. Got a haircut. Like learn a bit about Paylor.
Yep.
And learned about football.
Yes. Grim is now familiar with the intricacies of football. He can now blag to his friends that maybe he knows a little bit about football.
Yep.
He has friends.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Wrecked.
But aren't you my pal?
Tired.
Oh,
Mm.
don't you want to be my bestie?
I'm a little bestie.
I feel like you asked the wrong person that.
If you
Look.
ask me, that should be like, hell yeah.
Maybe.
You also got to ride a
That's not
horse
a
with Vondal.
challenge. I feel like we're gonna tumble all over the place.
That sounds kind of strange. I'm not gonna lie, especially considering you two now sleep in a tent.
This is true.
Oh no.
Moving swiftly onwards.
Yeah. But I guess I'm not sure what else there's to say. Well, the shady guy was also. I think we might come back to him because I
Yeah.
feel like we're gonna need some specialized equipment, which he might happen to stumble upon somehow. So yeah. As bad as it is, it's always good to have a shady character that can get you stuff.
Yes. 2 Bob and
What?
Mr. Brick.
A shady character that can get you stuff.
Look, some stuff you need to be shady to get.
Just
Yeah.
keep Vondal so far
Yeah.
away from that guy because
I
you
know.
know the mention we're gonna start the moment we're gonna start mentioning that shit, Cav is gonna
Yeah.
be like, nope, Vondal is not gonna be part of this, and we're gonna be like, oh.
I may have a soft voice.
Oh my god.
Lord
Please
almighty.
never say anything in that voice.
But I'm
He's gonna do
shady
it now.
too.
No.
I got balls.
No.
It just keeps going.
Please leave me alone.
The best part was, God, what was it? Did you make a reference to Trott's D&D character at some point? I feel like I remember that, but I'm
Did I?
Did you?
Not intentionally. I may have
okay.
done.
Well, whatever. I feel like it was one of York's quests. I don't know. Oh, that's what it was. It was like X is the name and whatever is the game. It made me think of what's his
Oh.
name? Like
Yeah, the vacuum
the
cell.
game. I
Yeah.
saw vacuum keys.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, it's
Anyway.
a famous it's
It
it's
is.
a quote from a famous British advertisement, I think.
It's just a
No,
but-
quote in general.
I know,
It's
I
like,
know,
yeah.
but it wouldn't
Something
have
is the
been too
name, blah blah
Yes.
blah is the
It wouldn't
game.
have been too far-fetched for it to be a Trot reference. Just saying.
No, there were a lot of references this session. I will tell you that much.
Yeah.
well, references are good, even if you don't always get them.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's weird. Oh well, moving
I
on.
love
That's
inside
weird.
jokes.
Yeah.
I'd love to be part of them someday.
Yeah. You may have your 825 experience.
Okay.
Last but not least,
Oh boy.
Man of the Hour with a Tower of Power.
Oh my god.
That's a Mega XLR reference.
They just keep going. The references don't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Stop.
I wasn't expecting that. I can say that freely as both Kelariis and Jayla.
No, good. I'd like to catch you off guard.
Yeah, no, I mean, the session was an experience and a half. Let me put it that way. Um, let's see. I think Kelariis reaffirmed a couple of things during those trials. The last one in particular, I think, was very interesting for her,
Mm-hmm.
just because of what was asked of her, I guess is the best way to word that.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I don't know, I think she, as well as I, like as a player, were both really worried when we showed up and we're just like, there's no temple here, and I was like, okay, I should have expected this, but you know, I was hopeful. I was hopeful for a second that it would have been like a prominent thing here, but I should have expected as much. This is fair. But yeah, I don't know. As a player, I was really scared about messing up those trials because I kind of knew what would have, like, I had an idea of probably what would have been expected for each of those. But I also was like, how would Kelariis react to, like, do these things, and how would she say these things? And then it was interesting, and yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Also, we have horses now, so that's cool.
Yeah. And you got inspired by some kids.
Yes. It was a moment that reminded her of previous times.
Of the past, yes.
Which was, I don't know again if that was intentional, but I will assume it was because it's you.
Yeah.
Amazing answer. That was an amazing answer.
Let's just say I deliberately wrote the scene with the woman and the children with the idea of tugging on certain people's heartstrings, but
Not Arya's.
not
Thanks.
Arya's.
Stone cold.
I feel like V would have appreciated the kids, but she's not cool enough. I feel like the kids would be like, "Whoa, look at this dragonborn."
Well, plant lady can also be very weird.
Also
Yeah, but
less
it's not like whoa. It's more like what?
Yeah, you don't have a cool sword or cool armor, but
V's not really gonna have a fan club.
No.
Like Kelariis already does.
I mean you have a fan club of one.
Neve?
Yeah.
Wow.
Glad Neve is thinking of being
Yeah.
in Silverbrook, which is totally not dangerous.
No. She'd be there sitting on the sidelines waving a little flag, wearing like a hand knitted jumper with your face on it. Or at least it's supposed to be your face, but the colours are kind of like smooshed together so it's kinda hard to tell.
Oh,
That's really cute.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm
So-
looking forward to getting information, but you know,
Yes.
those trials.
Yes. Especially as you got closer to an artifact this session than you might think.
I did what now?
Hmm.
Ferrous!
And on that bombshell, we will see you next time.
yeah.
Bye.
Bye.